This video is optional and it's just to explore a little bit the current inflation numbers. Okay, so what we're going to do first, I put in the text, but I'll just mention a couple of them here. There have been some significant issues for collecting the inflation data for the CPI. And also there's some problems with the way it's being collected now. So one of the issues has been because usually they sent people out to physical stores to collect data as well as collecting data online. But because of the risk of COVID, for quite a period of time, the BLS was not sending people out to physical stores, and they were mostly relying on online data. This affected data collection because they weren't able to get data from every source the way they used to, especially, for example, some low-cost supermarkets and things like that may not have their prices available online. So that was a little bit of an issue. Another major issue, which is kind of related to the substitution bias issue, but not exactly the same, is that not because of prices, but because of just the nature of COVID and the shutdowns and people trying to social distance, people change their consumption behavior tremendously. And so the basket of goods that people tend to buy is totally different than the basket of goods, or very different than the basket of goods they bought before COVID. So many people, for example, their transportation has cut way down. Also, many people stopped paying for things like daycare because their kids were home with them, and they stopped eating out or going to the bars or buying movie tickets or flying. And all of those things are part of the basket that the CPI collects data on. But if people are not doing them currently, it's unclear how important their exact prices are, or even how you find their prices if they're not widely sold right now. So anyways, that's a little bit of an issue. I'll put a link to what they're doing about this data collection, and if you're curious, you can go take a look. So anyways, what I want to do here is just explore these categories. So in August, so they do it every month, but then they compare to a year before. So in August, compared to the year before, prices had gone up 1.3%. So that's inflation, but pretty low inflation. But we notice here, it's pretty big in some areas and negative in others. So the big negative is energy. So if you took out energy, it would actually be positive, and pretty big positive number. So let's look at energy first. So the big part of this is energy commodities, and going down further, the big one is fuel oil and gasoline. Okay, so gasoline is down about 17% according to the way they collect it, and fuel oil, which I guess would be used in heating and stuff, is down about 23%. Okay, so that's that part. So that makes a difference. But again, to illustrate what I was saying earlier, that people are driving significantly less. So that's part of the reason why the price fell, but also people are driving less because more people are working from home. A lot of people are not taking their kids to school right now, and other reasons. So because people are driving less, even though the price of energy fell, it's not benefiting people as much as it normally would, because the basket is assuming people are still driving the same as they did before. Okay, so that's the idea of the kind of bias we're talking about here. Okay, let's go to food now. So food is about 4.1%, it looks like. And so food is a lot more than this average price increase. The line is for the average price increase. So let's click on it and see what happens. Okay. So food at home has gone up the most. Food away from home is up about 3.5%, but food at home is up about 4.6%. Okay, so it's up the most. And you might have seen this. So you might have seen at your grocery store that prices are up. And let's click on this and see what it says. So yeah, meat, poultry, fish, and eggs are about 7% higher than a year before. Dairy is about 5.7%, and other kinds of beverages are also up. Fruits and vegetables and cereals are up a little, but not so much. Okay, so the food stuff is up a lot. So if you've noticed meat got expensive, you're right. It did get more expensive in most cases. Let's see if it goes in any more detail than that. Nope, doesn't go in more detail on that. Okay, food away from home. This is limited service meals and snacks and full service, so they're both up. Okay, but full service is up a little bit less. All right, and the last one, let's see what's in this other category: commodities, less energy, services, and then we can look at services. Shelter is up a little bit, medical care is up quite a bit, and transportation services are a little bit cheaper than they were before. And this commodities, what's in commodities? Clothing is cheaper, okay? I haven't really shopped for clothing recently, but you might have noticed a lot of discounts on clothing. But used cars are up quite a bit, and also tobacco is up as well. And alcohol is up tiny, but tobacco is up. I don't know if, I don't remember if I shared the data with you, but one of the things that's up during COVID is smoking. I'm not totally sure why, because it would also increase people's risk, I guess, for complications from COVID, but maybe it has to do with stress and a way for people to temporarily reduce stress. So anyways, this is the data. I'll put a link to this and also put a link to something discussing the issues with data collection, and feel free to explore them on your own if you're interested in this part.